About this.
Coming up as the first boss, Mao the Giant. He really likes to punch you and make you reset.
Really hard. You can just wait there and not do anything, or you can punch you with his left and his right hand.
Looks like Luiz got a really solid fight, actually. He got punched once, but it didn't matter. It was just while he was charging.
Yeah, there's sometimes that you can punch it while it's really detrimental, and sometimes where it doesn't even matter at all. Also, he was lucky enough there to be able to get off an uncharged shot. The reason why you want to do that is because it does the same damage as those screenshots, but it lets him charge up his fully charged Buster shot earlier, since he can't charge while the green ones are on screen. And he also moved further away from the boss to fire earlier.
First Maverick stage, Blizzard Buffalo. This is like the one stage that has a really wacky physics compared to all the others, because it's the only one that actually has ice. The downward ice slopes just launch you at high speeds if you're also dashing. So jumping keeps your momentum going. So he tries to utilize those as much as possible when it's going in the correct direction.
Walking down a steep slope, you will jump higher and at a faster initial velocity. And for whatever reason, on these flat ice, slippery grounds,
walking left gives the same effect.
Yeah. So you can use that to jump high enough to cut out a couple of wall jumps, which just saves a small amount of time. Luiz getting the dash boot upgrade here. This, along with the Samurai, are the only upgrades that he'll be getting in any percent. The main reason is for the there's a big spike wall climb, and the end of the second Doppler Fortress stage, and it helps a lot to have air dash on that because you can use the air dash to do neon jumps with the saber, which is just it's a glitch. It's a mid-air jump. You're not supposed to be able to do it, but the game thinks that you're on the ground. Without the saber, it's frame perfect, but with the saber, it's a lot more lenient. I don't think anyone really knows or cares what the window is because it's
There kind of isn't a window. You literally can hold jump and then press shoot during the air dash, and it works.
So the reason why you do Buffalo first is because, like, the next, like, the mini boss on Tiger stage is weak to Frost Shield. Seahorse is weak to Frost Shield. The Seahorse mini boss is weak to Frost Shield. And those, the order in which you do these next couple of bosses is kind of will vary depending on whether you want to save some frames or whether you want to do some resets to getting the RNG parts out of the way early. Tiger's a pretty heavy RNG boss, so sometimes if you're doing like world record attempts, you would do that earlier to just reset on it. Luiz, obviously, since he's in a marathon, he's going to put Tiger way later. So Seahorse second is the most optimal round.
It's also kind of nice in a marathon setting to do Seahorse second, so you don't get completely boned by getting bit in Seahorse, whose weakness is also Frost Shield.
Yeah,
and that'd just be 3 bosses all weak to the same weapon.
The only way you can get by that is by using Buster on this guy right here, which is pretty suboptimal. Buster shots deal 1 damage to him, Frost Shields deal 3. So it's really nice to be able to just spam him with Frost Shields. Mini bosses in this game don't have iframes, so you take them out pretty quickly by matching them with their weakness.
Boots coming in handy, completely ruining his climbing.
Oh yeah.
Air dash is really difficult to actually work with. Like, it doesn't seem like it would be, but you get accidental air dashes a lot.
Yeah, since this air dash can go up or left or right, if you're holding up and you accidentally tilt the D-pad left or right, it'll just cancel out the animation. It has a really long animation to do the upward air dash. Seahorse has glitched iframes. If you shoot him with a Frost Shield while he's up in the air, when he's on the ground, he has a period of time where he has absolutely no iframes whatsoever, so you can just pump him with damage the same way you would a mini boss. But if you accidentally spill over your mashing past the end of that period, it'll you won't be able to activate the next one as soon as you would want to. So you want to mash.
You'll actually trigger his real iframes again.
Yeah, you want to mash as quickly as possible, but not too long. Luiz did it perfectly there. I think that was a 2-cycle, right?
Yeah, it was a 2-cycle without triggering a long iframe period.
That's absurdly difficult. Luiz is one of the only runners in the world who can do that. So this cutscene brings Bit and Bite into the picture now that 2 Mavericks are dead. Bit will appear on the 3rd, 4th, or 5th Maverick stage. Bite will appear on the 6th, 7th, or 8th. And you can, same thing as with Vials, as we were talking about before, you can either kill them or scare them away. You want to scare them away because if you kill them, they have 10-second explosions. You don't want that. And that'll make you have to fight a really annoying boss in Doppler 1.
Yeah. Not only that, I think you also have to climb up to that boss.
It's actually faster to fight that boss in that stage, strictly because
text at the start of the fight.
Yeah, there's no text box. You don't have to watch multiple weapon combined. Well, also the charge drill just does insane damage. It's 5 damage a hit every second because you can just hold it out. So the reason why Luiz is doing Rhino here, the route still can vary depending on how you want to do it. He's doing Rhino here just because Drill, the weapon that you get from Tunnel Rhino, when you hit an enemy with it, it makes it so you can pass through them for a certain number of frames without taking damage. And he's going to use that in Tiger stage to be able to dash straight through a couple of enemies. That saves him just a small amount of frames. The alternative is to do a non-dash jump and air dash over them. But since he doesn't care, well, he's not going to reset if he gets that higher RNG. He's just putting that stage as late as possible in the route because that's the most optimal place to have it. So the Rhino fight here, I'm not sure how this got through testing, but if you don't die in the stage, you can actually only do like two of his attacks, and then his desperation attack. There's a bunch more attacks where he shoots drills out in random directions, but he can't do them unless you die in this stage. We won't see them in the refight actually, because we'll have the saber. But or we will.
He has like one chance to do it.
Yeah.
It's really annoying when it happens too. Just get in the way of you trying to saber him.
So I think he's doing Tiger next now.
Yeah.
Now, I think from now on the route is pretty much just weakness order, I believe.
Yeah. Except for Hornet, I guess. You don't really use his weakness. You just use... But you have to have Hornet at the very least after Beetle. Otherwise you get a stupid, like, box mini-boss that just takes like a minute. That mini-boss only takes 5 hits from Frost Shield to kill, and you can manage to one-cycle it like Luiz did. You don't need the boots in order to do it, but it helps.
Yeah, it's a lot harder without the boots. It's hard to keep the height that you need. Hit him with all 3 of the Frost Shields in the second volley. So there's the Tornado Fang glitch at work. You just pass straight through enemies without taking damage.
And those big empty rooms with the doors on either side in all of the Maverick stages, those are the rooms that Bitter Bite will appear in. And he hasn't gotten bit yet, so he'll definitely get bit in the next stage, because they're guaranteed to show up somewhere.
So like pretty much almost every Maverick in this game, Tiger has glitched iframes, which is pretty much the main reason why I use Buster on him. He can actually shoot him every time Tiger uses an action, whether he jumps at the wall or shoots his Ray Splasher. His iframes reset, so that's why you see Luiz just mashing Buster shots into him. Him staying on the wall like this is pretty bad RNG, but not the worst. You can just do, like, slash. Yeah, this.
That attack is the reason that people sometimes choose to do Tiger second, just because that attack makes Tiger completely invincible for the duration of the attack. So you want as few of those as possible.
You can
put
do it
Tiger
0
second.
times. You can do it 5 times. It's pretty variable.
Yeah.
Waste
Getting it
like
out of the
4
way
seconds.
early just gets resets out of the way early.
It was a pretty okay fight. It was one slash, but him staying on the wall meant that he couldn't utilize the iframe resets. I mean, it wasn't the worst fight, but it was a really good fight.
Yeah. Not ideal, but didn't die. Didn't get 20 charge slashes. spikes on the walls are an instant kill, so you have to wait a little bit to actually get up there. It's not 100% where you can neon jump up there.
Unless you do the...
Oh yeah, the sick elevator damage glitch. Whatever. I have no idea how that works. Someone get Glitch Man on the case.
Yeah, we'll figure that out eventually when we make another X3 task. So he's gonna kill... Frost Shield is his weakness, so he's using it to damage him. It deals 3 damage a hit, but he's gonna kill him here with Buster because he doesn't want to sit through a 10-second explosion.
That area can be kind of a pain to get through because it's so many enemies in a really narrow area.
Yeah, in any percent, this is one of the more difficult stages to do perfectly, I would say. This and Beetle. Catfish's weakness is drill. A lot of weaknesses against bosses in this game different, so they're just not worth using. So that's why Luiz is once again using Buster against this boss. The way his Catfish's Desperation attack works is that once you drop him below half HP, as soon as he finishes whatever his current move is, he'll jump to the center and then try to get his Desperation attack off. But it can be interrupted with the drill, so that's why Luiz switches to drill after he jumps to the center sub 50% HP. And that was a lot of drills. That was really bad luck, actually. The task does it with 1 drill, which is basically 0 because it also abuses an iframe reset, which just kills him instantly. But in RTA, worst luck, I believe, is 7 drills.
Yeah, I think so. Something like that. It's pretty much Catfish just going to the center as soon as possible.
So here on Crush Crawfish's stage, this is where Luiz will... There's 3 places where you can find Vile Secret stage. Here, Catfish, and Blizzard Buffalo stage. The one that's the least... that requires the least detour to... or the shortest detour to access is here on Crawfish's stage. So this is where you fight him in any category, either 80% or 100%. It's also really nice having Volt Catfish's weapon for Vile stage because the debris that falls during these climbs is completely dependent on RNG, so using the Triad Thunder to protect yourself from it is very useful.
Coming up is the 2-part Vile fight. He'll use a handful of charged Buster shots and then switch to Ray Splasher, which is Vile's weakness. He'll use just enough Buster shots to make it so he kills Vile with his final ammo for Ray Splasher, just because it's faster to get hits in with Ray Splasher over the Buster shots.
And if he misses any Ray Splasher shots at any point in the fight, he'll have to fire a Buster shot to make up for it. If you run out of Ray Splasher ammo and Vile isn't dead, you're basically boned for the entire run, because that means that he's going to show up in Doppler 2 and you won't be able to get the Saber, which saves a million years on the endgame boss fights.
Gotta do some testing, see if it's better to just game over instead.
It probably would be. I think you can just suicide and then farm ammo with the acid spray.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, when you kill ground enemies in this game with acid spray, they always drop ammo, and if you kill ground enemies with cross shield, they always drop health, which is really nice for farming. Ideally, you don't want to have to resort to that, but sometimes, and for backup strats, it's a pretty nice, convenient thing to have.
It's also nice if you're practicing the game on console without save states or anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Go back, farm a bit of ammo or health. And coming up, the crawfish fight. Crawfish also has really wacky iframe bugs where when you hit him with a triad thunder for the next 2 seconds, or for like a 2-second period, he doesn't have invincibility frames for some reason. So you just mash buster shots into him after that.
Yeah, just like Seahorse, the goal is the 2 cycle here.
Which he gets pretty comfortably. First cycle did so much damage.
Task can 1 cycle. RTA can 1 cycle and 100% since the charge Triad Thunder deals damage every frame.
And all you have to do is just let go of the button once instead of hit it like 30 times.
Yeah, so the two bugs are left, Beetle and Hornet. You have to do Beetle first because he has some airship, and if you don't beat Beetle before going to Hornet, his airship like lands in Hornet's stage, and it's a really long mini boss fight. So
Whenever a text box comes up, you want to be holding start just to advance the text faster than using the normal face buttons. Luiz just hit start a little bit early there. That's what that pause was about.
this is a really interesting fight, actually, because you don't want to kill Fight with his weakness, and the drills stay on screen for a long time. Luiz actually times it so his last drill that brings him to 1 HP runs out like right when he needs it to, so he can swap the Buster. If you mess that strat up at all at any point, you're most likely going to have to pause and menu off the drill, the Buster, once he gets down to 1 HP, which is a time loss that you don't want to have. The other alternative that you can do is use Ray Splasher against him. It also does 2 damage, but you want to save some ammo for Gravity Beetle because Ray Splasher happens to also be his weakness.
Clean movement up to the boss fight. And the beetle fight's really straightforward with Ray Splasher. After every Ray Splasher hit, he always does this big slow jump at you. So there's really nothing to worry about in this fight.
I forget what's the any percent task strat on Beetle?
I think it was like either cancel the Ray Splasher by stopping an air dash or just crashing into him after firing it and then switching to Buster to charge. You could technically do that in RTA, but if he gives you the dumb pattern where he becomes invincible, then have to just go back to Ray Splasher to stop him. And like that happening once would probably negate all of the time saved from the strat, so it's generally not worth doing. Luiz attempting to do the slightly faster version of the elevator skip where you just kind of YOLO and iceless jump around. It's a lot easier to just jump out and air dash up, which is what he resorted to as a backup. He's fighting the obligatory reason this game has the CX4 chip.
Yeah. CX4 chip sucks, by the way, for anyone with these like wireframe things in the game. At the cost of a bunch of lag.
I like how you can just destroy a huge tower of boxes with 2 lemons.
Blast Hornet, his weakness is Gravity Well, or Keyhole. I forget which version it's called which in. That, surprise, induces extremely long iframes against him. For whatever reason, the Spinning Blade does 2 damage to him and induces 1 second iframes, which is pretty bizarre because I don't think there's any other weapon in any of the 3 SNES games that deals 2 damage to an enemy that it's not its weakness.
Yeah, it's kind of wacky like that. And that's the 8 Maverick stages down. Move on to Doppler stages.
Oh, apparently you don't have to crash into Beetle at all when you're doing the alternating Buster strat.
Have we got a moment for me to read a couple of donations? Metal EXE donates $30 saying best wishes to get both FP runners to SGDQ. Also hope the marathon goes well and he wants to see the fusion suit for Metroid Prime. So I have to key that shit in manually. Lovely. Lilac R donates $25 saying monies. Put this towards getting to the buy donation incentive because he's a smart-ass. Good luck with the marathon. I'm going to put that towards the Freedom Planet 2 run because the buy donation incentive isn't real. It's a joke on the schedule. Carry on.
Alright, just in time for Doppler 1 mini-boss. Luiz intentionally took like half his health and damage just to get to the other side of him, because when the mini-boss dies, this cutscene automatically happens where X walks to the right, and he has less distance to walk if you just get there yourself.
You know how much damage Ultimate Weapon Sword deals?
I think it does 8.
I think so too. So that means that if Luis gets hit by anything in this boss fight, he's dead. That's one of the things about X3 is that stuff does an absurd amount of damage, especially in the late game.
Yeah, they really expected you to pick up at least some stuff.
Where an Ultimate Weapon has 2 attacks. If he grabs you with his hand, you're dead no matter what your HP is, in any percent at least. And if he slashes you, I assume does 8 damage. Luiz would also be dead.
Thankfully, both of those attacks aren't particularly difficult to dodge. So even with low health, you're not usually too worried. Although the game does have a habit of eating your inputs when X stops walking. So if you're near a wall, then things can get pretty scary. Because if you like press left to walk into a wall and then try to jump, but you mistime it accidentally, he just doesn't jump, and you'll just get grabbed and then be dead. And that movement in the first part of the stage is actually pretty difficult to get through smoothly. Those huge red guys also do 8 damage on contact. And here's where you need Zero to not only kill Mosquitos really quick, but also get the near-death experience with Zero to get the Saber.
Yeah, I believe that I don't know what Mosquitos' HP is or how much damage Zero Saber does, but I would be interested to know how much damage it deals to bosses, because you actually can't bring Zero into boss rooms. He just calls X and X comes and replaces him.
It's true.
So, one reason why it was really important for Luiz to not take damage at the start of the stage there is he's going to be taking a lot of damage to this spike wall climb. There's the neon jump we were talking about before with the Saber. Whenever he takes damage, I believe he has... It's 60 iframes as soon as he regains control, and there's a flawless spike wall climb as we would expect from Luiz.
And yeah, the spikes along the wall, like all the other wall spikes in this game, are insta-kill, so you have to take the hits in between. It can be a little daunting to learn the elevator skip, just because, like, even if you are just a little too close to the wall, when you use the Saber, you'll just die. Even though you're not really touching the spikes.
Yeah, the Saber has a weird glitch where it extends X's hitbox, or I should say that this, I don't really know how it works, but you'll be on the same X-axis position, and if you use the Saber, you'll just die if you're too close to the wall. But looking at Hitbox Viewer, Hitbox actually doesn't expand, so it must have to do something with the Saber taking damage for X and killing him. I also just like to point out that Luiz is actively running X1 100% and either still X2 any percent or was just recently running X2 any percent, but he hasn't done X3 runs on stream for quite a while now, and this has been a pretty solid as heck run so far. Luiz is pretty much the top SNES X runner across all 3 of the games.
Yeah, I think the only record he doesn't have right now is low percent. Like Ochgard just sniped that pretty recently.
Yeah, in X3.
Yeah, X3 low percent.
So the Seahorse and Crawfish quick kills now, since the Saber, since he doesn't have iframes. Oops.
I think that was exactly what I was mentioning earlier about the inputs getting dropped when you stop walking. He walked a little to the right and then just stood there. Shot inputs get eaten when you stop walking too.
Wow, that's pretty lame.
Yeah. The only thing that doesn't get eaten is dash inputs.
Anyway, since the saber does 16 damage, it's supposed to kill bosses in
Two
two
hits.
hits. Seahorse and Crawfish, since they don't have iframes, since the saber's hitbox stays around for a little while, it will just deal 16 damage on consecutive frames and kill him instantly. And if something does go awry and you take a lot of damage on this fight, that center thing in the middle that you warp onto in between boss fights drop stuff if you hit it. Luckily, Luiz was able to get a large health drop on his first attack on it. Oh, the Neon Tiger fight is definitely the most annoying refight.
Yeah, he can actually block the saber, as you just saw.
Luiz actually got like a neon jump into Tiger there on the first saber. Yeah, Tiger just blocks charge shots, so the saber is considered a charge shot, so you want to use it on him while he's using another attack, or if he's on the wall, just period, you won't be able to block. You need to be a little careful with Crush Crawfish to make sure you don't like accidentally shoot him with a buster shot, not only because that wastes time, but you might let him get his desperation move off, and the saber does not go through the desperation attack. You have to use drill to break him out of it.
Nice strategy on the Beetle refight. He opened with the Ray Splasher because there's a chance at the start of the fight that the first action Beetle does makes him invincible and charge across the room, but Ray Splasher cuts that off. So he just opens the fight with that, and once you have the saber, you can start charging while a weapon is out, which you couldn't do before. So he prepares the saber with that Ray Splasher hit. Just mitigates whatever RNG.
Oh, so drills. Another benefit of the starting a boss fight with Ray Splasher is that you get to put the boss on iframes, so you can just shoot the charge shot into his iframes. You actually can't use the saber until that charge shot is off screen or just out of the game's active memory completely, and it dissipates much faster if you shoot something with it than if you fire it off screen. Like, even when you can't see the shot anymore, it's still in the game's active memory for a lot longer than you would like it to be. So the Dr. Doppler fight, X finally breaks his rule that a Reploid must never harm a human. That green squiggly line thing that he does is a regeneration barrier. If you attack him when he is using it, he will regenerate the health back. But if he's at 16 health or less health, then you can just saber him straight through it and kill him, since he'll be dead. Won't be able to regen.
Yeah, it does the damage first, then regen.
Yeah. Coming up, we are coming up on the saber gap jump. This is the most important part of the run. If you don't get this, no matter what pace you're on, you have to reset. And Luiz should definitely reset in a marathon if he doesn't get it.
Luckily, you got it. You don't have to worry.
Yeah, we're safe.
Run is not invalid. This marathon can continue.
I believe that's like technically it's a 4-frame window, but it's a little more complicated than that. You don't want to be too high up. It's not a trivially easy trick to get, and it's pretty swag when you do get it.
Alright, and Luiz didn't take a hit on the first form of the Sigma fight, so he has a really easy strat to do the second phase, where you can just take a hit.
Yeah, everything in these last two fights does at least 8 damage. You have 16 health, so he's just gonna take a damage boost there. And Neon jumped into Sigma's face. Now the only thing that can stop him is the lava climb.
Let's see if Luiz decides to bring us to single-digit FPS by flinging acids at the wall.
No, don't do it.
Your SNES will explode.
He's also using the Brazilian flag colors, Mega Man acid spray. I feel like the game would be lagging a lot less if he was just on Buster. And time is coming up. It's 40:23. I don't know if we can sync it with, since we're watching a delayed stream. But yeah, 40:23, that is a really good time. What's the current record? I forget what it is. It's like 39... 30 something?
I don't remember. Yeah, that's Mega Man
39,
X3.
39.
Or
Yeah,
Rockman X3.
Ah, no one called time.
Oh, we got the timer anyway. There's 40:23.
42. Wow, I was way fucking late because I was like doing other things.
Yeah, no
You were
worries.
watching a delayed stream anyway, so I don't
It
know.
doesn't matter. That was okay. That was well ahead
I
of
had the
estimate. Shit.
DLC one up, I just forgot. Yeah. This game has some nice credits. You get to see all the amazing Maverick names in the Japanese version.